All right. So PhD life uh, and startup life are virtually the same thing. And I always remember that moment when you first come in to start doing a PhD, you start having this. It's about like a couple months in, you're like super excited, and then you realize that, man, this work is infinite, and there is unbelievable amounts that I can possibly do. And at that moment you get overwhelmed, and you go through sort of stages of depression, I guess, where you begin to realize that you're not good enough with anything. And you just get very much, you see this sort of mountain in front of you that you have to do, and you're like, I can't possibly do this. And then, a couple of years in, you begin to develop this I just don't care attitude. And I don't care about the outside world. And I'm just gonna do my work. And I'm gonna do my thing, and that's it. And it's very similar to startup life, where you look at the world around you, and after you go through that initial excitement, you've done this thing, and then you go through the doldrums where you realize that the work is infinite, and you can put in as much work as you possibly can, and it's insatiable, right? So your demands, if you do something, there's 24 hours in a day. The demands are actually, maybe you should be working 48 hours a day, even if not more, perhaps even, 1,000 hours a day. That's what you should be working. And that's what the real demands are. And so you have to develop this thick skin where you just simply say no to the outside world. You just start saying, nah, it's not worth my time to do that. It's really, I'm going to put these boundaries on where I have a life. I can do things. I'm going to have some constraint in what I actually do. If I need to get a haircut, I'm going to go do a haircut. I know it seems like really stupid if I say this. From the outside world, people don't understand this, right? But it's very much the case. When you are doing it, you like start thinking about, should I even do this? It's not worth my time to go get a haircut. It's not worth my time to stop and have something to eat. And you start prioritizing those things in a weird, dysfunctional way. And over some time, you develop this like, no, I'm okay. I'm going to spend some time with my family. I've got, you know, whatever those things are, whatever your family and friends are, to eventually just say, I'm good enough with who I am. I don't need to keep working, and I'm going to take these breaks, these boundaries, these borders, whatever that you call them, and I'm going to be okay with that. And I'm going to um, keep working at the pace that I just work naturally at. And I really think, I don't believe in this notion of productivity gains in the sense that people sort of think about. And I actually strongly don't believe in it, where people think that you're, the more time that you actually put in, the more that you actually work, um, you know, the the your productivity goes up. And it's not true that way, right? What happens is that you start learning different things, and you may even not work as much as you put in that particular effort, right? You can just learn different things. That's where the productivity comes from, is not necessarily working more, but it's learning how to do things, right? And that's kind of what you go through. But I think in the given moment, you're not anymore. You don't work anymore, right? Like you don't put in any more effort. but you just have some productivity gains that come from that, that are not from your particular effort. So to give you an example, right? Like you might, um, you can do, uh, calculations on a piece of paper and it's very slow, but then you have a piece of technology like a calculator that just accelerates it quite dramatically, right? And these productivity gains come from thinking about the world in a different way. They come from, technology that you understand and can use. They come from many different, sources, but it doesn't come from working harder in the sense that sort of most people think what productivity actually is about. It's not about putting in more hours, but it is looking at the world and seeing it differently. So, with that, inevitably what you have to learn to do in PhD life and startup life is just to say, screw it. I'm good enough. This is what I do. And if I can't accomplish everything in this given amount of time, then so be it. Let the chips fall where they may, and that's okay, right? Like the belief that you can do everything all at once is a very, very naive belief. But man, you can accomplish so much if you simply just keep plugging away at something. You might not be all that productive, but you just keep plug it away, and you do that over a lifetime, you can accomplish a great deal, that is far more than what you thought that you can actually accomplish. So, my point is, don't get overwhelmed. Stop thinking about productivity gains and all of that nonsense. That stuff is nonsense. I know it. It's so like frustrating because in my field of research, productivity is like so built into it. In academia, it's just garbage with the productivity sort of notions that exist, that you put in more hours, you sort of get more output. All of that is just absolute garbage. And what you just do is you just keep doing your thing. That's it. Live your life, do your thing, and keep plugging away at it. And slowly but surely, something actually happens. And then all of a sudden, you look back, you realize, hey, I actually did okay with this. I'm going to continue doing this. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.